Hi friends, this is tech expert Neil and you are watching HowISolve.com. In today's video, I'll show you how you can install Android Studio on a Windows 10 machine. At the time of the recording, Android Studio doesn't support Windows 11. So the latest edition of Windows that it supports is Windows 10. So I'll be showing you how to install it on Windows 10. There are some prerequisites which you'll need to configure your system before installing Android Studio. But do not worry, I have made individual video guides for all the prerequisites. The links for that will be down in the video description. The first prerequisite is your system should have virtualization enabled in your BIOS settings. If you are not aware of how to enable virtualization in your BIOS, I have created a dedicated video for it. You can check that out. Other thing is you need to configure your Android device to enable USB debugging. Also, you'll need to install ADB on your Windows system. I've got a dedicated video for that. Check that out. The links will be down in the video description. So let's get started.
Okay friends, before we start the installation process, let's first check the system requirements for installing Android Studio. So I am on the official Google Android Studio website. The link for this will be down in the video description, and on that page you will find the system requirements. In this, we'll check the system requirements for Windows since we'll be installing in Windows. It says it requires a 64-bit Windows operating system and it only supports 8 and 10. So there is no support for Windows 11 at present. I did Google search and I found people complaining when they installed Android Studio on Windows 11. They found that the emulator, that is the Android emulator, did not work in the Windows 11. Anyway, so we'll be installing in Windows 10. And it requires a 64-bit CPU as we mentioned before, and it says that it requires second generation Intel Core or newer processor or a AMD CPU that supports Windows Hypervisor. Windows Hypervisor is used to run the Android emulator. You need an 8GB RAM and 8GB of available disk space. This is the minimum requirement of disk space. Obviously, you'll need more space if you want to develop Android apps. And the minimum screen resolution that it says it supports is 1280 into 800. If your system meets these basic requirements, then we can proceed forward. Okay, now let's head to the download page. The download page is also on this particular page itself. You can scroll down and you'll find these download links. We'll be downloading the exe file, not the zip file. And in this, at the time of the recording, the latest version available for Android Studio is 2021.1.1.22. So we'll be installing this particular version. To download this file, simply double click it. It will ask you to read through the user license agreement. Click I have agreed, and you can then click on this download button over here. So this will download the latest Android Studio version, and the code name for this is Bumblebee. There's one more misconception that I've seen in a lot of YouTube videos about installing Android Studio. You need to separately install JDK. That is not true. If you are installing Android Studio itself has got its own Java development present inbuilt inside the Android Studio package. So there is no need whatsoever to install a JDK separately. I'll show you the official documentation from Google. It mentions this. You can see this is from the developer.android.com, and in this I'll provide the link down in the video description. It clearly says a copy of the latest OpenJDK comes bundled with Android Studio 2.2 and higher. So the problem of installing JDK separately was only in Android Studio versions lesser than 2.2. But there are still YouTube videos claiming that you have to install JDK separately, which is completely unnecessary and it just complicates the entire setup. So I'll be showing you without JDK installation. So keep watching. Okay, the download process for Android Studio has finished. We'll now open it up. You can open the downloads folder or you can double click over here. I'll open the downloads folder, and in this simply you can see it's around 872 MB. We'll double click it. It will start the installation process. First it will ask for administrative privileges, granted by clicking yes, then click next, and then you can keep the default settings over here. And this also, the default will be installed in C drive in the program files. Keep the defaults. click next, and it will then start the installation process. Okay, installation has completed. Now we'll click next and then on finish. Then this dialog will pop up. So if you had originally installed Android Studio previously, then you can provide it the config or installation directory of the previous Android Studio installation. Since we are installing for the first time, you can select do not import setting and then click OK. Then the Android Studio will start running. This will be the first run. It will ask, do you want to share the data? So if you want to share some anonymous data so that Google can improve upon it, then click on send user statistics to Google. I'll select don't send. Then this wizard will open up. This is the welcome wizard, and we'll simply click on next. And normally you don't require any customization in the installation setting. Keep it on standard and then click next. And then there are two UI themes available. So if you like the dark mode, you can select the dark mode over here, or if you like the light mode, you can select the light mode. I'll select the light mode and then click next. So it will now start downloading all these things, that is the Android emulator, the Android emulator hyperversion driver, and the Android SDK build tools for the latest version, SDK to the 32 version. All these tools will get downloaded from the internet. So you simply have to select next. All these tools have the individual licensing agreement. You can simply click on accept over here to approve the licensing agreement for the Android SDK license, and then there is separate licensing agreement for the Android SDK preview license. So click on this and then click on accept and then click finish, and now it will start downloading all the packages. Now it will ask for administrative privileges to install the packages. Click on yes to grant it that. You can see all the components have been downloaded and installed. Click on the finish button and your Android Studio has been installed. We will now create a demo project and run it on an emulator. For doing that, we first have to create a demo project. So to create a new project, click on this button over here, and then we'll say we'll create this basic activity project. Click next. You can keep the defaults. You can change the language from Kotlin to Java if that's what you want. If you want to see the market share of all the different Android versions, you can click on this link over here. Then it will show you the current market share of different versions. So if you select the minimum version of Android 5.0, that is the lollipop version, then you will cover 98% of the devices. Cumulative market share of all the versions. Using this chart, you can select what minimum Android version you want to support. I'll let the defaults be, that is the 5.0, and click finish. There will be a pop-up from the Windows Defender which will ask you to make sure that ADB is added into the firewall exception so that it can communicate freely. So make sure to select allow access over here, and you can see over down this project is building at present, and we'll let it complete the build process. At present it is downloading all the dependencies for this particular project, and then it will start building it. Okay, the download process has finished. Now it's starting to compile and build the project. Okay friends, it took around 5 minutes to build the entire project. Once the project is built, now we'll set up our Android emulator. Before doing that, as mentioned before, you need to enable virtualization in your system. I'll show you how we can know that virtualization is enabled or not on your system. It's quite simple. Right click on the taskbar and then click on Task Manager over here, and then click on Performance, and then over here you will see virtualization enabled. If you see this thing, then it means that the virtualization has been enabled in your BIOS. If you do not see this, then you have to enable it. I have made a dedicated video. You can check that video out. The links will be down in the video description. Okay, so once you have enabled virtualization, now let's set up the device. So to set up the device, you can either click on this icon over here or simply go on Tools and then click on the Device Manager over here. It says that you do not have any device. Do you want to create one? So click on Create Device. Okay, so we'll create, let's say, Pixel XL, and we'll let the defaults be. Click on Next. Okay, now here you have to download the Android system image for your particular device, and I'll download the latest version, that is the Android version 12.0 image. Simply click on the download button over here. and this will start the downloading process. You can see it's quite a large image. It's around 1.5 GB in size, so it will take a lot of time depending on your internet connection. Okay, the system image for your Android virtual device has been downloaded, and now simply click on finish button over here and then select this image that you have downloaded and then click on next. Then it will ask you to configure the settings, like which you can name this particular device. You can say virtual Android 12. Then you can change the orientation. I'll keep it in portrait mode, and you can other settings you can keep it at default and then click on finish. Okay, I had to change the machine from the virtual machine that I was using to my host machine, because for some reason Android emulator does not support embedded virtualization, which was there in my virtual machine. No problem, since you will be doing this in a real machine, so this particular problem should not happen in your system. I've already downloaded the virtual device on my original system, and in this, to launch it, again we'll click on the device manager, and you can see I've downloaded multiple devices. I'll launch it in this Nexus 10 API 30 device over here. To launch it, simply click on this play icon over here. It will say it is connecting and saying starting the AVD, and the emulator will start in this window over here down. You can detach it from this window by right clicking on the emulator tab and then select view mode and click on float. Over here you can see this is the emulator which we just now started. So this is basically a virtual Android device, and on this device we can install our demo application that we just now created. So to do that, over here select the app and select the Android emulator name. In my case, I have started the Nexus 7 API 30 emulator. So this over here is mentioned. Green icon means it's currently running. And to run this app on the simulator, click on the play button over here, run app. And then we'll go to the emulator, and over here the app will launch shortly. You can see at the bottom the build process has started, and it will create the APK and install it on this virtual device. Once that process is finished, it will launch the app in the virtual device. Okay friends, you can see our first demo Android application has started. So you can see over here, click on settings, next, previous. So this is this demo application that Android Studio creates for first use. So I hope friends you like this video. If yes, smack that like button. Share this video with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel HowISolve.com. We'll be posting more such informative tech guides, tutorials, tips and tricks, and much more. So make sure to click on the bell icon to get notified as soon as we upload a new video. Thanks for watching friends. See you later. Bye.